The Arise Women's Conference is one of the biggest gathering of women to celebrate one another and the impact they are making in various communities and professions. The 2021 Arise Women's Conference, themed Revive, was held on Saturday, the 30th of October 2021 at the City of David Church Auditorium, Ligali Ayorinde Street, Victoria Island, Lagos. The Arise Women Nigeria is a faith-based, non-governmental organization committed to accelerating nation building through women empowerment. The convener of this widely and largely attended women's conference is Dr. Mrs. Shiju Iluyomade, wife of Pastor Idowu Iluyomade, pastor in charge of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Region 20, Lagos, and special assistant to the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, on Christian social responsibility. Dr. Mrs. Shiju Iluyomade, through the Arise Women's Conference, has brought women together from all strata of life, cutting across religious sentiments, beliefs, and cultures. The vision of Dr. Mrs. Shiju Iluyomade was birthed 13 years ago from an idea that women are embodiments of excellence, compassion, and grace, and collectively they can reach for the stars. The 2021 edition of the program was a unique one. Besides the distribution of the Arise Pink Bucket of Hope, the team made provisions for a designated COVID-19 vaccine center. There were also provisions for other health screenings. The Arise Women Conference was held simultaneously at 2 different centers and was broadcast on various online platforms. The Arise Women Conference 2021 was attended by an array of dignitaries from all walks of life. To kickstart the event was intercessory ministrations from the Voices of Zion Choir, powerful praise session by Bukola Bekes, and melodious saxophone presentation by BJ Sax. In the remarks of the convener of the Arise Women's Conference, Pastor Dr. Mrs. Shiju Iluyomade, she spoke on the theme of the conference, Revival, and charged women to lift themselves up from the ashes.
As women, it is time to shake off lethargy, complacency, lack of concern, lack of active participation in nation building. Today, as I stand before you, I want to ask you a question. When last were you truly joyful? When last did you feel a sense of accomplishment? It is time. It is time to be revived. Not only to be revived, to choose life. We need to inject revive into our being, a new zest for well-being, a new desire to resist anxiety, depression, or discouragement.
Dr. Mrs. Shiji Luyomade also touched on areas of national development and called on the various arms of government to correct societal ills in their different capacities.
A sustainable, decent economy. I speak to those of the judiciary this afternoon. Without a decent economy, justice will be trampled upon. There will be no justice if there is no decency. There will be no justice. We may not achieve equity, but we can achieve justice. My brothers, as there are no women at the bar or the bench, it is your work to help us to revive decency. We beg of you this afternoon, the woman who is the creative force, the one who births from her womb, the multitasker, the superhuman, the one who nurtures, the one who is quiet and she is fearful, the one who guides us to our goal, that is the woman. The woman who stands relentlessly. She is afraid, yet she is worried about others. That woman, she is you. She is not a girl. She is a woman. And yet she's crying for love. Can you tell your sister, I hear your cry for love. I hear your cry. But let us stop sweating the small things. Let us sweat big things. You are that woman who understands, who takes care of herself and yet takes care of others. Your hand gives easily. I want to say before I close, one thing I need to tell you is that please stop complaining. Stop complaining. Do this. Sip it up.
Next was the remark of the First Lady of Kwara State, Her Excellency, Mrs. Sulu Folake Abdulrazak. She spoke about her women empowerment program called the Ajike Foundation. She said the Ajike Foundation is one that has been used to create wealth for women in Kwara State. She also commended Pastor Dr. Mrs. Shiji Luyomade for the ray of hope she beams on women across the world through the Arise Women Conference.
I've been following Arise and all what you've been doing over the years. And I think it was last year or in 2019 when you were in Abuja to commission one of the homes. I think I followed that as well. And I think, you know, we really need to commend you for all what you're doing. This is also what, you know, in Kwara, you may not be aware, but my foundation is called the Ajike People Support Center. And, you know, this is what we all do. Skills acquisition programs in so many different fields to make sure that our women are economically viable. We say that we take care of women, the youth, children, and humanity at large. We say humanity at large to make sure that the men do not feel totally out of it all. Because we have a lot of men that support us, and we have so many men that we call now the he for she. And these men are the ones that help women and make sure that women take their place, rightful place in society. This Arise Women has, over the last 13 years, demonstrated sincere commitment towards the testament of which is evident in the huge numbers of those that have benefited from the Arise Women initiative. With the empowerment of 16,500 less privileged persons in Lagos alone, supporting health and education, sinking boreholes in communities, and reaching over 1.8 million people through mobile clinic outreaches, among other interventions of the Arise Women, you will agree with me that this is no lean feat. It is in this regard, however, that I commend Dr. Shiju Iluyomade and indeed the entire Arise Women team for the good works of sustaining this conversation on women inclusion and ensuring that women thrive in our society.
The wife of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Mrs. Oluremi Hamzat, also celebrated Pastor Dr. Mrs. Shiju Iluyomade for her giant strides in women emancipation.
My sisters, the message to us is clear. This is a theme for us to revive and be conscious of our roles, responsibilities, and duties. Enough of our slumber or our sleep. Let us be seen and be effective in performing those noble roles as wives, mothers, pastors, head of organizations, and help us to uplift our spouses. Holy Book have always admonished us to always seek the face of God, to renew the right spirit within us, and for us to live an exemplary life by doing what is right, loving our neighbors as ourselves, be helpers to someone in need, stop dragging down or despairing other fellow women, always appreciate and good recommendation for our women. If we don't appreciate ourselves, believe me, no one is going to appreciate us better. When you see something good, appreciate. When you see something that needs to be corrected, still appreciate, but knows how to say it in a better way that will not put whoever is being concerned down. It is whether you zip it, stop it, and
The Managing Director, Mainland Infectious Disease Hospital, Dr. Abimbola Bowale, in his address, encouraged all to take the COVID-19 vaccine. While enlightening the congregation on the need to take the vaccine, he said the federal government plans to vaccinate 4 million people before the Christmas festivities begin, as only about 2.9 million Nigerians have been vaccinated so far.
The vaccine is safe in these 3 conditions. And it is safe for everybody, 18 years and above. And I'm sure that for those of us who say I won't get vaccinated, the side effects are minimal. Pain at the sides, maybe a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of body pains. Some people who have some level of fever. It means that the vaccine is working and your body is producing antibody against the COVID infection. So we are expecting a lot of people to come to Nigeria for Christmas, for New Year. They are going to bring COVID though. Yes, they will bring COVID. They will bring COVID. So we must take our vaccine today. And we must take it at other times. The state government, as I've said, is rolling out and is planning to have 4 million Lagosians vaccinated. Vaccine will be available in primary health care centers, in our general hospitals, and in some private hospitals. And as I've said, this site is also a site for vaccination. So please, let's chase COVID away from Nigeria.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talin, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Mr. Adebiyolu Funsho, also charged women to realize their great potential and be a force to be reckoned with in society.
Women are powerful, and it is my prayer that God will open your eyes to see the power of a woman. Don't forget, the prayer, I believe the greatest gift any man can have is a praying woman. When you have a prayerful wife as a man, your success is guaranteed, is secured, is established, and cannot be tampered with. The prayer of a woman produced Samuel, greatest prophet that ever lived. The prayer of a woman produced Samson, the strongest man that ever lived. The prayer of a woman produced John the Baptist. Don't forget, the righteousness of a woman brought Jesus Christ to life. So please don't ever underestimate yourself. It is my prayer that God will open your eyes to see how far you can go. There is always a God who can answer if there is a woman who can pray. God bless you all.
Thereafter was a music presentation by Yinka Alasheyori.
Ready, sọ pé ṣé mo ti yìn lójú ẹ̀rí. Mọ́mí, ṣé mo ti yìn lójú ẹ̀rí. Tell somebody, ṣé mo ti yìn Ọlọ́run lójú ẹ̀rí. Mọ́mí, ó yẹ kẹ́ ṣe nǹkan tó yàtọ̀ kóhùn bá máa wò pé ṣé bó ṣe máa ń yìn rè. Come on, ṣé mo ti yìn lójú ẹ̀rí. Olóore mi ni aláàánú mi. Ṣé mo ti yìn lójú ẹ̀rí. Ṣé mo ti yìn lójú ẹ̀rí. Olóore mi ni aláàánú mi ni. Mọ́mí, bí mo bá yìn mo lè máa bẹ́. Bí mo bá yìn mo lè bára yílẹ̀. Olóore mi ni aláàánú mi ni. Ṣé mo ti yìn lójú ẹ̀rí. Ṣé mo ti yìn lójú ẹ̀rí. Olóore mi ni aláàánú. What's your neighbor? What's your neighbor? Ẹ kí olóore, ẹ kí olóore, ẹ jẹ́ ká kí olóore o. Olóore. Ẹ kí olóore, ẹ kí olóore, ẹni tó ṣàánú ayé wa. Olóore. Ẹ wá bá mi kí olóore o. Olóore. Somebody scream Jesus. Olóore. Ẹ wá bá mi kí olóore.
BISCON Communications congratulates the convener of the Arise Women Conference, Pastor Dr. Mrs. Shiji Luyomade, on the successful hosting of the Arise Women Conference 2021, and pray for more grace to continue with a great vision.